Hey everybody. Yesterday I got the shadows to just sort of work in a proof of concept sort of situation. It was just a set timeout that was just turning the shadows on and off, um, just to sort of take away any sort of complications and just be able to focus on the real problem. And I went over exactly what the problem was and the workaround for the problem. So today I wired up the scene manager, um, so that you can turn the shadows on or off at the user's control. Um, so basically, this is pretty cool. There's actually like it's just really interesting. Like if you think about it, like if a little guy was right here, he would not be able to see this, but if he was right here, he could see this. It's a really good way to visualize when something is actually visible or not, which is got a lot of practical applications. Um, but anyways, the way this works, just a quick go over of that. I'm going to just put this in raw data. Um, Basically, we have a light mesh that just duplicates the light, sort of indicates that the light exists right here at 1 and 0, and then we have our floor, which is this whole white thing down here, and then we have this blocker is what I'm calling this, and this is just a cube that is sitting over here, and then it is preventing the light from getting to these spots right here. So that's pretty cool. If you go over to the lights, show raw data, you can see that there's one light there. Um, be interesting. So like let's say we made this zero point 0.5, it would move the light. Now you won't be able to see it because I didn't move the mesh, but see the light is moved over. If we wanted to sort of match that up, we could come over here and update our mesh and make this 0.5. And that's basically what we're seeing right there. So now, like this little guy here is not visible from anywhere over here. It's all the way there. And then as it moves over, we would do that. And when we get animations working, that's going to be pretty cool because we'll be able to like sort of emulate maybe a satellite or something moving around or something like that, or this could be like a little line of sight tower that somebody puts up on top of a building, and like everybody on this side can get a good line of sight to it. I once worked on a project where we were sort of showing what users could see, and or we were trying to let people set up communications networks, and this was really super important. And we didn't really have a visual indicator. We had like a map with like contours on it, and it was not very useful. I didn't think for the actual user to try to determine what their issue was. Like the person whoever was setting it up would have to be pretty good. Would have to have a pretty deep abstract imagination in order to kind of picture what was going on. I forgot to put my timer on there. We are 3 minutes and 41 seconds in. So there wasn't a lot of code. I still have the old code because the code that I had before really was not appropriate for committing. But let me see if I can come in here and find. So created basically a new form group with a cast shadow in it. Set up our subscriptions, uh, and then we set these subscriptions up, and then up here we set up an on destroy hook, and so basically anytime this uh, component is destroyed, all subscriptions are deleted, right? So we've done that a dozen times before on this project. In the types in the HTML, it's still very okay. So I'm not showing. That's a different view. So I'm just going to go to the in this view. So this is green. It's like a new code. Uh, okay, so that's for the basically to bring the scene. And funnily enough, I actually just copied it. I didn't cut it. So now we have um, two scene components, which is pretty cool, I think. Um, but let's go to our scene manager.html. And basically, I wrapped a table. Let's go to scene. Um, Wrapped a table around this. All it was just the color picker before. Gave it a label, background color, and then I set up this checkbox, which was tied to the form control. So now I'm going to hop right back to here, and we'll go look at the subscription. So we set up this subscription. All it does, it's pretty straightforward. See, scene manager, get rid of that green. Um, Literally all it does is take the form and assign it to the renderer for cast shadows. And that is all it needs to do, because this renderer object is assigned here, and it is actually the renderer item that comes from the library, the service. So if we go to the service, that is literally the exact same object as the this dot. So when we set up this renderer signal, we sent it the renderer item, right? And so now whenever we update the renderer on the animation, and this hasn't changed since the last video. Let's go down there. So we check this stuff and then we update off of it. So it's the same object. So we actually I don't even think I never do call. Let me go back up. I don't think I call update renderer. I guess the easiest, well, I don't want to lose our, I guess that's no big deal though. So let me go back to the scene manager. Yeah, see, we never even call that function. So it isn't even necessary because it's getting updated outside. It's getting updated by the component. This scene manager component's updating the actual renderer object, and the render object is the thing that's being used to do the update. So I know that's weird. A lot of honestly, like if I was working in a professional environment, I would have actually called this function and had this code do stuff, even though it doesn't do anything, just so it doesn't confuse the heck out of the people trying to do the PR. Because people doing the PR want to follow along and understand what's going on, and trying to explain that the way JavaScript does its memory allocation is extremely confusing, especially to anybody who's ever done back-end development. It's really, really mind-blowing to them because this is, well, anyways, I think I have probably 3 or 4 other videos where I've kind of gone down this path. But anyways, so that's how it works. Basically, in our scene manager, there is a form field checkbox that you can turn on and off. And then inside of here, there's code that takes that value anytime there's a change and sets that value, changes the cast value, and then in the service, there's code that let's see. There's code that takes, if that has changed, then it takes it and it updates the shadow map, which doesn't work, and I have a comment, and then it goes through all the lights and it sets them to whatever the value is of this checkbox. So if this checkbox is true, it sets all cast shadows on all lights to true. If it's false, it sets them all to false. I will need to do an update. Probably the next video, I'll update the lights so that you can mark a light as casting a shadow or not. So if you go in here, you go there, there'll probably be another checkbox that says cast shadow. And so this code will have to be updated to say if we're turning lights off, turn them all off. But if we're turning them on, find out which ones are switched on and turn them on. So that's going to be a little weird and a little confusing, but I think it'll be pretty cool. And I'm looking forward to having like different lights light things up, but then different lights casting shadows and other lights not casting shadows. I think that's going to be really fun. Um, and that's about it. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.